On December 17, 1972, the aircraft of Air Force Captain Robert Thomas was shot down during Operation Linebacker, leaving our next speaker an orphan. His name is Derrick Thomas. He is the Pro Bowl linebacker of the Kansas City Chiefs. Ladies and gentlemen, last season, Derrick Thomas was named Linebacker of the Year for his single-game record of 7 quarterback sacks. Many say that he is the toughest person in professional football today. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Derrick Thomas.
Thank you. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you in front of an object that is so powerful, of which the strength I cannot imagine. As I was asked to do this speech, I think I lost a lot of sleep because I didn't know what I would say or how I would react to finally having the opportunity to stand in front of the wall. I think I purposely not come here over the past 10 years, and I was waiting for a special moment, and I think today is my moment. I almost came here last week. I came to D.C. for the Riddick Bowe fight, and I found myself wanting to come over here, and in the back of my mind, I was telling myself, no, you can't do it. Just wait and grasp the moment when it happens. So I found myself losing sleep last night and wondering again, what would I say? What shall I say? How will I stand here in front of this wall where my father's name will rest and endure for many generations to come? How will I react? Will I be emotional, or will I be able to face it and go on? Well, many times in life I've had to come to the crossroads and make a decision. And a lot of times I didn't choose the right decision. But there were people around me that cared enough about me, that knew enough about my situation to where they tried to guide me and keep me on the right path. They had faith in me when I think I didn't, because I was bitter for a long time. I asked the question often, why my father? Why do I have to go and participate in sports? Why do I have to go to class? Why do I have to do a lot of things and my father not be there to pat me on the back when the game was over? I think the thing I regret the most was I didn't have a male figure in my life, probably until I was a senior in high school, to ever come and watch me play in a football game. I didn't have that male figure in my life to tell me when things were going bad that one day it would ultimately be all right. My father excelled in everything that he set out to do. And I take a little bit of that in everything I try to do, because I've spent the better part of my life trying to find out what kind of man my father actually was. I've read books, I've talked to people, I've even talked to the members of his crew that returned. And everybody says, mostly, that my father was a great person. Not that he was a good pilot, not that he achieved a lot of accolades during his lifetime, but that he was a great person. And I think that's the one thing that I want to take from my father and try to improve upon. My father was a great person, and I want to be like him, but I want to be a better person. I want to try to exceed what my father accomplished. I know that that will be a difficult task because of the things that he accomplished. I was blessed with the ability to perform at a high level in athletics, but I wasn't blessed to be a great person. It was something I had to work hard at. And by talking to my family growing up, I wanted to know why was my father like he was. And nobody would ever tell me. I was in college. I was a freshman in college before I really began to learn the story of my father and what actually happened on that mission. I regret not wanting to know before then. There are probably some things that I could have learned and have a better sense of who my father actually was if I would have started at an earlier age. But since then, I've had the opportunity to go back to the SAC base in Blytheville, Arkansas, where they were stationed. I've had the opportunity to talk to crew members on his plane. I've had the opportunity to fly in his honor in the Missing Man formation about 3 months ago. So I've had the opportunity to experience some of the things that my father experienced. And for me, this is probably the crowning moment, to have the opportunity to come and stand before this wall where my father's name rests and have the opportunity to speak to people, men and women that served with my father, that fought with my father, that came back to tell the story of men like my father. I don't know where I will go from here. I don't know where each and every one of you in the audience will go. But I hope that when you leave here, you take a little bit more than you came with, because there are 58,000 names on this wall, and they each left somebody behind. When you're in your communities, in your houses, in your schools, look around. There's a kid somewhere that may not be doing everything you would like him to do, but he's crying out and he's asking for help. There are thousands of Derrick Thomases across the United States, and they just need a chance. I was given that chance at an early age, and there are other kids out there that also need a chance. So I would like to urge each and every Vietnam vet here to just adopt a kid in your neighborhood, because that may be part of the legacy that somebody left behind. If I would never tell the story of my father, no one would ever know. If I would never have had people to continue when I didn't want to continue to tell me the legacy and the story of my father, I would never be here today. So I just ask that each person in the audience believe that they can make a difference. And I'm speaking out to the youth at this point. Believe in yourself. Never let anybody deter you from what you want to do, because you're the only one that can stop you. You are the future. You will be the next president, the next senator, the next person in power. And when you reach that point, make the right decisions. Make sure that you're willing to accept the fact that you'll leave Derrick Thomases and other kids out there without anybody to look up to. So make the right decision. Vietnam happened, and a lot of people try to suppress it, put it behind. Myself, I can't do that because I live it each and every day. My father's not a part of me. I have pictures, I have memories, but that's as far as it goes. I know somebody profited from Vietnam. There are a lot of Americans that benefited greatly from Vietnam. I am not one of them. The families, the children, the friends of these 58,000 names that rest on this wall, they aren't one of them. So I hope that everybody that profited and benefited from the tragedy of Vietnam can rest in peace. I still often wonder why. Why did it happen? There were a lot of strange things that happened on my father's mission. They were flying out of Guam, and there were 3 sequences of B-52s to fly that day. Something happened to the first 2 planes in his sequence, which made his plane the solo plane in his sequence. They were about 10 seconds from dropping their bombs when their plane was hit. I asked why. Why 10 seconds? Why not 10 minutes? Why not 10 minutes after? I've looked, I've searched, I've asked myself over and over for the answers. And strangely enough, strange things keep occurring. It's very ironic that my father's last mission was named Linebacker 2. It's very ironic that in college I had 52 sacks and my father flew a B-52. There are a lot of things in this storybook that don't make sense to me, but they just keep happening, and the pieces of the puzzle, they just keep fitting together. And I figure if I play this story out long enough, it'll have a happy ending. So I leave you today, and I ask that each and every one of you reach out and touch somebody. Make somebody see that war is not the answer. That I understand that sometimes it can't be avoided. But when it does happen, make sure it happens for a purpose. And then when it does happen, make sure it happens quick and swift, and it doesn't carry on, and it's not drawn out. And we can save some of the lives that will be lost by drawing it out. So I ask that each and every one of you just touch a child somewhere close to you when you leave here, and tell him that you visited the Vietnam Memorial, and explain to him what it actually means, so that he may grow up and keep in his mind that he never wants to see this type of tragedy happen again. And may God bless you all and make you better people when you leave here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Derrick. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker has been a longtime advocate of Vietnam.